the one guy that we have not talked about yet is Breece Hall. So I want to talk about Breece Hall because he suffered a devastating injury. I'm
devastated.
Yeah, it is devastating. But one thing that's fascinating is that I think Breece Hall's trade value is higher now than it was before he entered the league, which is crazy because he played 7 games and then tore his ACL. He was that good.
You should see what happened to Dalvin Cook after 4 games.
But what do we think we're doing with Breece Hall right now? Let's say, first of all, you're a contender. You had Breece Hall. What are you selling for if you are selling? And then second of all, you're a rebuilder. You're trying to buy Breece Hall. What are you buying for? Because I have been very confused about my thoughts on Breece Hall. And I will get to that in a second, but I'll let you open up.
So Breece Hall is phenomenal. He's a better prospect than almost anyone we've seen come out in many years. If you count the Saquon Barkley year as many years ago, then that would be true. But he's the best prospect we've really seen pretty much since Saquon Barkley. I like him very, very much. And anyway, and then he comes out and he's pretty exceptional. Like he was getting a ton of passing game usage. Even from like they had some really high pass attempt games with Joe Flacco, and he was getting quite high percentages of those high pass attempt games, which is pretty good. But anyway, so he's like using all phases. He got hurt and he dropped 1,500 KTC points. That is a lot of KTC points to drop. That's keep trade cut for those that are new to the show. I often reference that until I get it through my thick skull to go to fantasy calc. Anyways, the moral of the story is Breece Hall is now hurt. He's not going to play this year. He's probably going to suck next year. And what do we do? Because ACLs, by the way, have their 2-year injuries. We missed the year, and then we spend a year recovering, and then finally we're back to normal. Thank God for Breece Hall this happened in his first year and not in like his second year like J.K. Dobbins, because now J.K. Dobbins has 1 year to prove it before he gets to sign a second contract. Breece Hall luckily gets 2 years to prove it before he has to sign a second contract. He might even get extended before his final year of his contract if he plays really well next year or in 2 years. Anyways, Breece Hall, I feel like I want to buy him in every single league. I don't care if I'm contending. I don't care if I'm pretending. I want to buy Breece Hall because he's very good at football. But here's the problem is he's very good at football and he's very valuable. Even with the reduced price, he's still a very high priced asset. He's number 18 in startup rank per keep trade cut, which is pretty high for a guy that's not going to play well for probably 2 years. I think guys like him don't really become available unless there is an injury. So if you want Breece Hall, you probably have to just fork up the premium to get him and then hope that it bounces back. Usually we do see these guys bounce back with value as they enter as they like re-enter play the following season. And then it slowly whittles down if they don't play well or they keep getting injured and that kind of thing. Like look at Saquon Barkley.
Yeah, that's the weird one for me is because like Coop and I were going back and forth on Breece, and he presented me with the very logical heuristic, which is that when a player is injured, they will always be worth more at the conclusion of the season, right? And it makes sense because every player's value is a function of their productive value in the current year to some extent, and Breece Hall doesn't have that anymore, and so he should be a higher value relative to other players afterwards. And so, in theory, you should be able to sell for more, but you can also sell for a lot right now. It's weird. My stance on Breece Hall, I think he's probably a little bit overvalued right now because people are just so excited to even have the opportunity to trade for him. But I also think that he'll probably be even more valued probably later in the offseason. I just think then it's probably likely to fall in season. And then probably by 2024, it all pays off. But it's how much of this ride do I want to be on, right? Do I want to be holding all this time, tying up all this value in a player who might not be difference maker and producer, or do I just want to take my chances to buy back in the middle of 2023 and sell high enough that if he does just come out and ball out next year, like Adrian Peterson, that I'm not going to be kicking myself too much.
Yeah, as with everything, it depends on what you can get for him. If you can get something really, really shiny for him, I think you absolutely have to do it.
So I sold Breece Hall twice today.
What did you sell him for?
So I had Breece Hall on 2 teams that were very much contending. One was one I would say is maybe more of a middle of the road contender. But I'm also waiting on Deshaun Watson to come back. The other one is clear favorite number 1 seed team. So I traded Breece Hall in on one of those for DeAndre Swift straight up. And then the other one, I traded Breece Hall and Khalil Shakir for CeeDee Lamb and a bunch of fabs so that I could potentially bid on Sam Ehlinger. So essentially Breece Hall for CeeDee Lamb, and the other one was Breece Hall for DeAndre Swift. I was pretty happy with both those, and I have a feeling you will like the Swift one, and I have a feeling that you won't like the Lamb one, but you're wrong.